Hello and welcome to Getting It Done, a podcast about music, education, and life lessons. I'm your host, Tim Rausenberger. Today is Thursday, April 11th, 2019. This is episode 267, Improving Your Music Auditions. I'm going to keep that on the background a little bit there. I like that. Hopefully that's not too loud. Kind of keep that going in the background. How are we doing tonight, everyone? Welcome back to Getting It Done. We just released episode 266 earlier this evening, actually just a short within the past hour, which had to do with multitasking in music, which was extremely exciting. And I had a lot of fun doing it because it would give me the opportunity to highlight a piece of music by Chris Bernatas, which is he's a tremendous band composer in the area and just a really fun all-around person. He has written so many great pieces of music. We featured him in episode 254, our first live episode. Decided to bring his music back into episode 266. So please check that out. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to already hit that like button. Got the like button going on. You've been passing along the information. Hopefully those watchers are going to be increasing. We're a little bit on the slow side tonight, which I get. I know people are very, very busy. A lot of friends of mine have concerts tonight. In my own school district, there's a very, very big musical going on tonight, which I have to just give a quick plug. Was fantastic. Absolutely amazing. The pit and everyone on the stage today, absolute kudos. One of the best musicals I've ever seen. And I don't say that to be prejudiced. So that's just really, really tremendous stuff. So we're going to get into tonight's episode. Before we do that, we have to give a big shout out to the people that we do have in the chat here. So a return hello to Sparkalust and to Sean, who are frequent visitors here. They're here every single week. Just Nice is always here. Otaku Girl, welcome to you. Great to see you. And let's see. We have Miguel Moran. Hello to Miguel. Wow, Miguel, it's so nice to see you here tonight. So thank you so much for being here. And we're going to get right into it with improving your music auditions. How many of you in the chat have ever auditioned for something before? Let's start off with that. If you've ever auditioned for something before, if you could put it over in the chat over there and let me know what it is that you've auditioned for and what it was that you have done. Whether it was a successful audition, whether it was a failed audition, it could be any of the above. It doesn't matter. Give me an idea of things that you've auditioned for. I see that Sparkalus has already talked about the talent show. We have Sean Stella, who's gone into band, choir, and the talent show. So give me some other things that you've auditioned for. We have dance company here. That's great. I'm going to add some things that I've auditioned for in my life and things that I've had to prepare for. So one thing, of course, were my college auditions. We'll get into that. Now, for my college auditions, I actually had to do them for the undergraduate level, which would be my Bachelor of Music degree. And I also graduated. I did my auditions for graduate school as well. So the graduate school auditions, which is your master's or doctorate of music. So let's just type that out. So those are things for me. Now, the auditions are different depending on the type of degree that you're looking to pursue. In my case, anyone who's going to go into music, if you're going to go into music or going to go into the arts, it's an expectation that you're going to have to do some type of an audition. So it doesn't matter if you're planning on performing for a living or you are going to just be an educator, if you are doing something, regardless of whether it's the major, minor, whatever the situation is, you're going to have to do some type of audition if it's something that's arts related. Dancers will probably have to do some type of dancing. People who are artists will be expected to present a portfolio, but in some situations, you may also have to do some artwork on the spot, be able to demonstrate your ability. So there are many different types of things. Thank you very much for the Dr. Rausenberger. We appreciate it. And a hello to Esther, who is spamming the box. Thank you very much for Esther. Appreciate you tonight. And thank you for coming back as always. So we're going to address here the improving your music auditions. Now that we have some people and you can continue, and if you could maybe help me out, Alice, as we're going along with the chat here, if you happen to see anyone who jumps in who's new, if you can feel free to address them, ask them what they've auditioned for. And again, anyone as we're going along, if you can also to make sure to smash that like button, I would sincerely appreciate it. Also, we're going to, in addition to talking about the music auditions, I'll take your questions later on throughout the evening. But throughout the night, please submit your questions relating to improving music auditions. Okay, so there are 4 major components involved with improving music auditions. And I'm going to type them right here in the chat. Okay, it's very, very simple. So the 4 main parts of auditions. Number 1, before. Number 2, day of or days of. Number 3, during the audition itself. And number 4 is after. So I'm done. I'm out. Peace out. We're done tonight. No, just kidding. So we only have 4 main parts of the auditions. Well, that I should say only. These 4 are a very, very big deal, and we will certainly get to ladies of the night. I will definitely take care of that tonight. So thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. So these 4 components are a very, very big deal. And I would say the place where people fail the most when it comes to auditions would be number 1. I really think that people do not prepare well enough for auditions. And I think that that's something we're going to address tonight and get into and make sure that people realize and recognize everything that successful people do to have a great audition, to be able to nail that part, to be able to get into a school that they're looking for. We're not really going to talk so much tonight about job interviews. We got into that in a previous episode. We're going to really just try to stay to music and arts-based auditions. The biggest problems that I see when it comes to before have to do with people, I think, and this is unfortunate, people who think they're ready, but they're not. If you want to audition for anything, you should be doing it. I think the best way to put it is, if you think about every minute that you are going to audition. So let's say that the audition itself is going to be, call it 5 minutes. At the very, very least, you should be preparing 50 hours. At the very least. So for every 1 minute that you're actually going to be doing an audition, 10 hours should be committed. And that's light. That's a really, really small number. And I appreciate Matt being here, because I really hope that Matt Slockbarrow will chime in with some of his thoughts, because he's one of my top students and also someone who's very experienced at auditions, and he can definitely share a lot here. But as Matt knows, and he will be the first to admit, there were times I think that I can use him as an example, where I think he felt that he was better prepared than he really was. And I can't stress enough that the time behind the scenes cannot be underestimated. Now, what goes into getting ready before the audition? It has to do with being very, very meticulous. You have to be tough on yourself. You can't be tough to the point where you're just bashing yourself to smithereens and saying, "I am no good. I'm never going to get this. I'm hopeless. I have no chance of ever getting this part." That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about being critical about the process and making recordings of yourself, having other people listen to you. Because when I listen to people the first time they audition, I don't say much. I just digest it. And if I'm going to continue to work with that person, then I'm going to be really blunt. And the reason I'm going to be really blunt is because I like to think of auditions in so many ways, music auditions, as the world. Because the world is a stage and we're all on it. We're always on a stage. And the way that you express yourself in real life really should be very, very similar to how you're going to express yourself in your auditions. How much time do you put into the process? How much time are you spending on other things? One of my favorite quotes that I say to students all the time when they're in lessons with me and they're getting ready for their auditions, especially if they have a bad week of practice, a bad week of preparation, just a bad week. And I'm not talking about them being stressed or being sick. That's a given. That's going to happen to all students. I am talking about those times where you had the time. You weren't overwhelmed with life. You weren't overwhelmed with homework. You didn't have lots of responsibilities and you were perfectly healthy. And I'm not necessarily talking about being lazy because you may have been productive in other areas. I'm talking about how are you spending your time? And we're not even addressing the music portion. Are you putting your eggs into a completely different basket? Are you putting the eggs into the wrong carton? Because I see students so often who they've decided that they're going to audition with a specific song. So they've chosen the song. Now they're getting ready for the audition. And they do the work on the song. And then what do some students do? They start working on other songs. Well, that's not the end of the world. The problem is when the other songs start to overtake the time that you need to be dedicating to that specific song, making sure the words are in place, making sure you know your lyrics well, expressing emotion, making absolutely sure, the most important thing of all, in relating to your tone quality, to be sure that your pitch is on point, that you're not flat, that you're not sharp, that you're not strained when you're singing. These things are everything. I say it all the time to my singers in school. Your sound quality is everything. I say it to the instrumental musicians too. If the sound isn't there, people are not going to be interested. They're just not. You need look no further. Pull up any of those X Factor, Got Talent auditions. It could be Britain's Got Talent, America's Got Talent. I know people will say, "Oh, that rough Simon Cowell." I like Simon Cowell. I think Simon Cowell is great because you know what? He's honest. He's not going to beat around things with you. He doesn't think you sound good. He's going to tell you. And first impressions are everything. So if you don't do well, you need to find out. And unfortunately, in those auditions, they're not going to be giving you second and third and fourth chances. Now, occasionally they do, but not too often. So you have to go into this audition where you've done it so many times. It's like this muscle memory thing. How can I equate it? Think about you if you're an athlete, and think about doing push-ups, doing sit-ups. In terms of your running, sprinting, in terms of any types of calisthenics that you do, and you do them so many times, and you do them so many times, and you build up muscle memory. I did a video earlier tonight, episode 266. I was holding a trumpet in my hands. That's muscle memory. I know how to do that. I can do that in my sleep. You can wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning, throw a trumpet in my hand. I could grab that thing right away. I know exactly how to hold it. I've known that for many, many years. It's muscle memory. I know exactly where everything is supposed to be. When you march in a marching band, you have specific muscles that need to be developed. And the same thing, like I was just saying with sports. Now you bring it back to auditions. The muscle memory is everything. And here's why it's so important. You do this over and over in the before stage. Why? Because on the day of, which we'll get to in a second, what's going to happen on the day of? Can you tell me on the side here? What is going to happen on the day of? This is consistent with just about every single person who's auditioning. What is the big, big thing that is a problem for people auditioning on the day of? The number one issue on the day of. Because we need to consider this before the audition. Can you list what it is? There it is. Just nice, nailed it. They're nervous. They're nervous. There it is. So you know you're going to be nervous on some point. I wouldn't even say, I see that Sparkle said fear of failure. I don't think that that's necessarily it. I think that your fear of failure might be tied into being nervous. I don't think it's necessarily that you're saying, I can't do this, because I have to tell you, and we'll get to that phase in just a moment. If you start saying to yourself, you're not going to do it, you're not. You're not going to do well. It's very, very rare if you start having a negative mindset that you're going to do well. It's just not going to happen for you. And people are going to be able to see it very, very quickly if you are lacking confidence or you're thinking that you're going to fail. So being nervous is something that's expected. So how can we prevent this? Before the audition, you need to take ownership of your audition and force yourself into nerve-wracking situations. With my singers, I will make them perform in front of strangers. With my band students, I will make them perform in front of strangers, in front of small audiences, large audiences, people who they have a tremendous amount of respect for, and especially people who are musicians themselves, where they may get really, really nervous. That's what you want. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to feel. I'm not going to lie. For episode 254, I was sweating bullets. I was really nervous. And tonight, I'm a lot less nervous. I'm still nervous because I want to have a great episode. And I get people that get me all excited and get me all pumped up to have a great episode. But the nerves are still there. I need to think about what I want to say, and I don't want to freeze, and I have to think things through. This one's a lot easier for me to discuss because I talk about it frequently with so many students of so many different ages. What else can we do before the auditions? Record everything. I'm talking about taking notes. Take notes on yourself and identify what the issues are. So you know, and you have a list, and then you take that list from other people and you work on those specific items, and you've got to go through them over and over and over and over until they are committed to memory, not memorized, learned. You have to have the information learned. If it has to do with lines for a play, you have them learned. If you're going to be an actor or an actress, right now, and I've said this over and over to people, I have people that are in this chat who've expressed an interest in being an actor or an actress. Right now, you should be able to take an actor or an actress from whatever, a movie, from a TV show, and you should be able to duplicate the scene right there on the spot. You should be able to do it in their exact voice, with the exact cadence of their voice, the pacing, everything. In terms of being a musician, you have decided that you are going to do your own interpretation. If it's a song, it might be a cover. If it's an original song, you've got more things that you need to consider because they've never heard it before. So you have to think about how you're going to convey that to people who have never heard the song before so they can go, that sounds nice. That sounds really nice. I like that lyric. I like what he or she is doing with the voice in this particular spot. Or in the cover, where they know in their minds what something is going to sound like. I can't tell you how many times I've known younger girls who will decide to do Tomorrow, the song Tomorrow from the musical Annie. And they don't put themselves in the situation and in the mindset of Annie herself. Now, you don't have to have the red hair. That's not necessary. You don't have to have the look, but you have to put yourself in the mindset of that person. You need to put yourself in that frame of mind. That's what the great actors and actresses, this is what they do. The great musicians, that's what they do. The great musicians are studying other great musicians. And they're even studying musicians that aren't so great. Actors and actresses, studying people over and over and over and over. A good friend of mine from college, he played on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. And he was part of I'm forgetting the movie off the top of my head right now, but it had to do with a gentleman who was Polish. His name was Jan Lewan. And he was known as the Polka King. Pretty sure that's what the documentary is called. At any rate, on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, the band that was in the background, my roommate was in the band, which was really amazing because he actually played with Jan Lewan. And the person who was doing the role of Jan Lewan was not him. It was actually Jack Black, who is a tremendous actor. Jack Black spent so much time researching everything about Jan Lewan's life. He spent time on the phone with him. He spoke to childhood friends. He spoke to relatives. He spoke to band members, people in Jan Lewan's band to get background information. These are the things you do before the audition. I look at my student Matt over here. Right now, he's working on the Haydn Trumpet Concerto. I'm going to type that into the chat here because that's a really, really famous piece of trumpet music. And I played the trumpet concerto actually in one of my classes recently. And I didn't do it the same justice as other people. I just can't play as well as certain trumpet players. There are certain types of things I'm able to carve out my own niche and I have my own ideas and ways that I want to interpret it. And I pass those along to someone like Matt and other trumpet players along the way. But the Haydn Trumpet Concerto, that's as good as it gets. That's a standard. You have to know that piece. You don't have to necessarily be able to play it right now. You have to know the piece. You've got to know the Haydn Trumpet Concerto, and you have to know all the different interpretations. So then someone in the back of their mind can say, ooh, that was Maurice Andre. Ooh, Wynton Marsalis. Oh, that was Allison. Oh, I think I forgot her name. I think it was Balcom or Balsam. Or that's just that amazing blonde-haired trumpet player who I remember she had a British accent, but she had that really, really sweet tone, and she did something a little bit different with the interpretation. Or Håkan Hardenberger and his own interpretation. See, these things are really important because when you're playing for a committee, they know. These Got Talent judges, they're not there to just, because they're famous. No. They're there because they know their stuff. They know their material. Simon Cowell is the music judge on those shows for a reason. He knows a lot of music. Doesn't mean he can sing well. It means he knows a lot of music. He knows what it's supposed to sound like. And your judges are going to be looking at things the same exact way. The people in that room are professionals. They know their stuff. So before the audition, All of this needs to be taken into consideration. Now, I have the reason why I'm looking off to the side over here, I have a sheet. I'm more than happy to, if you want to contact me at any time. It's again always info@brasstender.com. It's eventually going to be updated to the Getting It Done site. We're in the process of transitioning. And cool little update for everybody. I think you're going to enjoy this. We are going to be having a massive website overhaul. I didn't want to forget. I meant to say that at the beginning, but we're going to be having a massive website overhaul. If you take a look at the gettingitdone.us website, which is also brasstender.com, we will be having a complete overhaul within the next month. I'm in development stages right now with someone. It's going to be one of the best websites you're going to find on the internet. If you do send me an email to the address, I'll be more than happy to send you some of my preparation techniques. Now, things that I've given students before their audition. First of all, the day before the audition, make sure that you get a good night's sleep. That's so critical. And I know that that's really difficult because you might be nervous. You've got to get a good night's sleep. So that's the first thing. The second thing, in terms of the audition, as we're getting really, really close to the day of, you need to eat well. I'm not just talking about the morning of, I'm talking about the day before, talking about the night before. You need to be well hydrated, especially if you're a singer. You need to think about where you're going to be sleeping, because I can't tell you how many times I've had to sleep in a hotel room, and if it's really dry in there, I'll wake up the next morning and my voice is a complete disaster. So you have to think about these types of things in terms of auditions. You have to think about everything that you're going to need to bring with you. If you are a singer, you only need to bring yourself. You may need to bring some materials for the judges. You might need to provide them with some sheet music, but if you are an instrumentalist, you need to have all of your accessories. You got to make sure that your instrument is in tip-top shape. And that needs to be done way in advance. You can't be doing that days before. You can't decide, I'm going to go get the instrument cleaned. And by the way, to all my friends out there who do play instruments, do not get your instrument serviced within, I would say, 2 weeks before the audition. I would not do it, because your everything needs to be acclimated to that instrument. When it comes to brass players, if there's some type of resistance in that instrument, once you get the instrument completely cleaned professionally, it changes the metal with the instrument. And that's the same with some other instruments as well, especially ones that are wind instruments. So I would be very careful if you're going to get any types of changes done, unless they're going to be things that are absolutely necessary, where the instrument is not working efficiently. Then that would be a different story. You need to think about music stands. Are you going to need a music stand? Have you contacted the people in advance to make sure they have everything that you need? And going even further than that, if you're a guitar player, do they have an amplifier? Do you need to bring an amplifier with you? Same thing with a keyboard. Are they going to have a piano for you? Is the piano already going to be tuned? Are you going to be playing a keyboard that is patched into an amplifier? These are all things you need to consider. All done before the audition, way in advance. Why? You don't need to be stressed out about these things at the last minute. The biggest issue I have with students in general, they wait until the very, very last minute to think of these things. And sometimes they don't think about these things at all. And then the day of the audition, they're freaking out. This podcast episode was planned in advance. I didn't just decide on a whim, I'm going to do this today. No, I decided in advance, this is what the episode is going to be about. I started coming up with all these different types of ideas. And hello to ladies of the night. Thank you so much for being here. And I will absolutely make sure to pass along your information for your website, because I appreciate all the plugging that you did for me within the past 24 hours. I think it's tremendous. The one other thing you need to think about for the day of the audition, what do you need to do in terms of your attire? Okay, I got my nice tie here. Solid tie. I don't wear solid ties too often. What do you think of the solid tie? Is this black tie working? I like this black tie. I don't do solid ties too much. I think it works, though, with the red shirt. Well, you can let me know. All right, getting back on from the tangent. Okay, so In terms of being dressed up, though, do you need to be dressed up for the audition? Now, with certain auditions, specifically auditions that are blind auditions. What's a blind audition? That means that you are playing for a panel, a committee, group of judges who are not going to be looking at you. Well, to save any possibility that they might be trying to catch a glimpse, and unfortunately, I have heard and seen those types of situations before. You may want to resist wearing anything on your shirt that's going to identify who you are, your name, a school that you're from. You may not want to publicize that information. I would always say, in general, to go more with this type of look than a type of look that is a t-shirt and jeans thing. I just still don't think in today's society that that's appropriate. I just don't. I don't think it's the way to go. I think that you're better off doing this. Yes, I am a lot more comfortable wearing sweatshirts and shorts, or sweatshirts and sweatpants. That's my thing. That's what I'm comfortable in. But when I do these shows, I do feel a need for professionalism. So I prepare in advance, day before. All right, let's now jump ahead. We've talked about before. Now we get to the day of. What are the things that you have to think about the day of? Honestly, not a lot. If you've done all the preparation you need to do, hopefully you can have a clear state of mind. One thing that's very important to do on the day of the audition, if you're someone who is prone to getting really nervous and you cannot calm down, find ways to do so. It could be yoga. It could be meditation. It could be listening to music or doing things that have nothing to do with your audition at all. Nothing. Sometimes that's the best way to go about it, because you're distracting your mind and you're distracting your nerves, and you can just focus on nothing and just enjoy just relaxing and just having small talk and having some conversation, rather than thinking over and over and over about the audition. I would say once you're getting within 45 minutes to an hour of the audition, probably want to still think about some things. Here's what should not be happening the day of the audition. You should not be practicing the day of the audition. Do not practice. One of my best students said to me that one of his worst auditions was a day where he decided that he was going to blow out his trumpet lips and spend like 2 hours practicing. Bad move. Don't do that. You can't do that to yourself. You absolutely have to do that type of preparation beforehand. The day of, whatever vocalizing you're going to do, whatever warming up you're going to do, keep it at a minimum. Keep it light, so when you go in for your audition, you are fresh. You are ready to go on the day of the audition. And I think in terms of that, again, before and getting ready for the day of the audition, have everything out ready to go. Everything should be all set. You should already know what your time slot is. You should already know where you're going. All that stuff is done well in advance. The other thing I think is important, if you ever have an audition where you're supposed to go first, I'm going to give you a little tip. If you're ever supposed to go first, but they don't seem to be taking people in order, and you were assigned to go first, can anyone explain over here, what do you think you should do if you are pegged to be first, but you don't necessarily have to go first? It could be somebody else going first. Can you give me a reason why you would not want to go first? Why do we not want to go first? Is it better for us to go second or third or fourth? Any type of idea. What do you think? Let's see. Any ideas? Any ideas over here? Ladies, I see your comment there. I'll certainly take care of you before you have to wrap up. Okay, that's a really good answer by ladies of the night, because you can feel confident after the first person goes. Definitely. Absolutely, definitely. Yeah, there's a chance they may be better than you, and that's going to happen. But you know what, though? If you hear someone and they're not so great, it's going to fill you with more confidence. That's not a bad strategy. I haven't had many people who have said that before. One of the things about that Matt just said, if you can wait for 5 minutes for someone to go before you, the judge's ears are not warmed. What a really, really well stated too. What that means is the judges have not had the chance to warm up their ears as to what they're going to be hearing for the day. So if they have the chance and they hear someone play their instrument or sing, and the person is good, not so good, it doesn't really matter what they are. Really actually doesn't make any difference. Unfortunately, the person has to go first. The whole committee who's there may not already have an idea in their mind of what to expect. And because they may not know what to expect, that makes things a lot more challenging. Let's see what other types of comments we got. Because if you're first, it would throw your opponents off to make sure that they can do better. Not necessarily throw them off, but what it could do, it could make them better based on what they hear from you. So if you can try to avoid it, that would not be a bad idea. If you see someone do the same type of motion or movement and the judges are bored, you can change that. Certainly, if you see enough things, if you're able to see into the room and you're able to hear certain things or see certain things, you can absolutely change. Very, very good ideas that are being thrown out here. Good. Let's see. Just the answer. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember, and I apologize. Someone in the chat just said they're confused. Why not practice the day of? Yes, you should practice the day of. I'm not saying you shouldn't practice. What I'm saying is don't practice a lot. You should not be practicing 2 hours the day of your audition. Don't practice that much. You should be practicing. If the audition is going to be about 5 minutes long, you shouldn't be practicing, honestly, for more than about a half hour at the most. You really shouldn't do much more practicing than that. Again, the idea is to be fresh. That's very, very important. I do want to just say this very, very quickly. And I can't stress this enough. And I would like them to please put a plug in the video. They can advertise here. I'm totally fine with it. Ladies of the Night, they have a tremendous channel, and I so appreciate that that the Ladies of the Night are here tonight with our broadcast. They've only been online for an extremely short amount of time, and I hope that their subscribers are gonna jump aboard here, because I think that they can all learn something from this as well. The videos that they are putting out online, there are cartoon anime style videos, and they are very, very high quality. They're fun, and I think that's the most important. They're just fun. They're taking different types of music and just having a lot of fun with different types of cartoon characters, ones that they've designed themselves. I think that that's tremendous. And I can't stress enough how wonderful it is that they're putting that type of content online. So please feel free to support them, to like them. I would really appreciate it, and I'll be sure to put some plugs in there. And if you want to put some comments below, that would be tremendous. And if you'd like to put anything in the chat, feel free to do so. Thank you so much for supporting our channel tonight and being here with us with Getting It Done. Your audition itself. Okay, so now you go in and you're going to do the audition. So that the moment of truth has happened. You're now in the room. Depends on how much audition experience you have. In my case, at this stage, I like to adapt, and I adapt quickly to my surroundings. For those of you out there who don't have as much experience, most important advice is to be yourself. Don't try to be someone else. Don't try to act like anyone else. Just be yourself. You are you. There's no one, there's no other you in the world. So when you go in for that audition, make sure that they are getting everything from you, including your personality. I'm not changing my personality. I for the longest time with auditions would freeze up and I would become someone that I wasn't. I don't do that anymore. When I go into a room, any room, I consider any new room that I enter a new classroom. That's an audition for me. It's an audition for me because I need to audition for the class so I know that the class can feel comfortable with me. So it's how I'm going to be conveying information, and I have to adapt on the fly to what's going on in the room and what I'm noticing with the students. That's an open audition for me. And I'm myself. I don't try to be someone I'm not. I try to give them a snippet, give them an idea, some type of flavor of, you have seen this, but you ain't seen nothing yet. You're going to hear this incredible song, but I've got so much more to offer to you. And I've got this personality you're going to hear a little bit of, but there's so much more. You want them wanting more. It's kind of like that musical I went to today. We all left the musical. We wanted more. We didn't want to leave because it was so outstanding. It was just the right length of time. The students did a tremendous job. They were genuine on the stage. They were passionate. They were caring. They communicated extremely well with the audience. It was fun. It was entertaining, and no one wanted to leave. That's what you want for your audition. You don't want the person to leave. You want that person to stay and say, I want to hear more from that person. I want to know what that person has to offer because I heard something in their voice. I heard something in that instrument. There's something special going on in there. And what that means is doing the preparation well enough and doing it so many times that if you do crack and you sing a note that, whoop, oh, some weird thing comes out, and you go to play an instrument and some weird, strange sound that you've never made on the instrument comes out of your instrument, or it happens in the most inopportune time, you're all right. Any quality judge is not going to care. Not going to care. Not in the first round, anyway. They're not going to care. That's the reason why in America's Got Talent, they don't crown the winner at the first audition. They're just trying to get, they're getting their feet wet. You're getting your feet wet. They're getting used to you. You're getting used to them. You're developing a rapport, a relationship with the judges to let them know this is what I am all about. That's what you're trying to do at the audition. All right. Now, oh, and yeah, Matt even says, my friend had her French horn mouthpiece fall into a trash bin. I know that because that was one of my other students. She had her French horn mouthpiece fall into a trash bin in the audition as she was emptying the water from her French horn. She was emptying the water as she did it. The mouthpiece fell in. That's kind of a funny moment, and it happens. I mean, you're a human being. So it's not the end of the world. Nobody's going to hold that against you. All right, so we talked about the day of the audition, and the one last thing I want to say, if you're listening to other people audition, whoever those other people are, you're listening to them and you're like, you know what? Oh, they did this. Oh, they're doing the same song as me. Oh, but they're doing it this way. I need to change this. No. Don't change anything. You need to stay the course. Do what you planned on doing all along. Do not make a ridiculous decision that another flute player is playing something faster. Now you have to play it faster. You are a singer and you hear somebody do something in a song that you are also singing. And you're like, oh, I think that's pretty cool. I think I'm going to do that. No, don't do it. You haven't been practicing that way. My 7th grade year was my first ever audition. And at my first audition I ever had on trumpet, it was a region band audition. And I didn't do any of these things. I didn't prepare properly. I was petrified the day of the audition. I had not the slightest clue what to expect. I didn't know how the audition was run. And I have to just say it for what it is. I wasn't prepared very well by the people who were sponsoring me for this particular audition. So I went into the audition area to warm up. And I was there from 9 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock. I was there for 7 hours in this auditorium. And I heard literally every single person warm up who is going to be playing for the day. I'm not just talking about trumpets. I'm talking about every single instrument under the sun and singers. We're talking over 1,000 people who must have passed through the doorways and coming up and down the aisles and going in and out. And here it is, 4 o'clock. And at this point, there are only about 25 people left. The person who was next to me was this girl. And I knew she wasn't auditioning because she looked like a high school student. And I'm a scrawny little middle school student and 7th grade. And she was clearly a high school student. I could tell she was a lot taller. She was a lot bigger than I was. And she went to go play her trumpet. And this is basically all I remember. She went to go play her chromatic scale, and it sounded something like this. And I just went like this. I had no clue what just hit me. And I said to myself, I can't do that. I don't know what she just did on her instrument. I have no idea what she just did, but I can't do that. Because let me tell you something. The sound that I just made was not what came out of her trumpet. What came out was some of the most amazing sounds I've ever heard in my entire life on a trumpet. And believe me, looks can be deceiving because I looked at her and she did not look like a trumpet player. Little did I know, the trumpet player next to me was the top rated trumpet player the previous 2 years at those auditions. 9th grade. She was only in 9th grade. She looked a lot older. She looked like she was 18 or 19 years old. She was only in 9th grade. And I was sitting next to one of the greatest trumpet players for her age in the state of New Jersey. And I was already unprepared. And I got psyched out. And I went into the room and I started trying to play like her. I tried to do the chromatic scale quicker. Bad moves. And I bombed the audition. I had 57 trumpet players. I came in 53rd. It was just dreadful. And I always tell my students to learn from the experience. Now, did I make it in the following year? I did. I came in 5th the following year. I'm pretty proud of going from 53 to 5 in 1 year. It's a pretty amazing jump. But even then, I still had my naysayers. I still had people that were my, I guess, call them haters in my 8th grade year who didn't like some of the things I was doing in my preparation. But I had a new coach. I had people who had done so many things for me. But I also learned. I learned from my own experience that happened on the day of the audition. Now, after the audition, this is critical. I hate the moments after the audition because now we're nervous for new reasons. Did we get in or did we not? Did we make it or didn't we? Did we make it to the next round? And this is the part that can be very, very nerve-wracking because now you're done with everything. My friends, it's out of your control. You did everything you could do on that day. You have no control anymore. You can't change the judges' minds. They have made up their The decision's been rendered. It's there. And they've had an opportunity to hear other people, and there may be people who are just simply better than you. You need to accept that. There are people who are going to be better than you. There are people that are better than me at podcasting. I'm trying to become better than them. That's my goal, while still being true to myself. I'm always trying to be a better teacher. I don't think I'm the best teacher, not by a long shot. I think I have so many things I can do to improve. And I do that every day to try to be better. Oh, let me tell you something, Jess. It is red. Red for Ed. Hello, Jess, and hello to Rebecca. So let me tell you, I mean, you don't have any control over it. And I have someone in the chat here, and I don't want to mention their name, but they were very upset yesterday over something that we can't control. The things that we can't control in life, we can't do anything about those things. It is what it is. So the judges have made their decision. Now you're going to find out. Now, how you find out varies. Nowadays, we're able to find out results online. We can get them, they could be posted on a website. It could be sent to you by email. You could get a text. You could get a phone call. You might, there's so many different ways that it can be communicated. It doesn't matter how you find the information. You're going to have a reaction. It's going to be one way or another. You're going to be happy. You're going to be disappointed. There's really no in between. Because even if you make it in and you felt confident that you were going to make it in, you're going to be happy to some extent because you're validating. You're saying, you know what? I worked very, very hard and I know I deserve this. I deserve good things to happen to me and I deserve this audition. Now, on the other hand, the disappointed side, where you're saying to yourself, well, I should have gotten in. What happened here? Why did I not get in? Or, you know what? I heard someone else, I heard some other people, and, you know, maybe they were just a little bit better than me. Or you could say to yourself, I know I wasn't prepared. And I know I have a lot of things that I have to fix, and I need to learn from this. What my advice is, seek out the committee. Find the judges and ask them for feedback. Now, the feedback might be available to you. Rebecca mentioned before about regional and district auditions of all different types of natures. There are scores that are given to you. Now, that only represents some of what's going on in the room. You don't get everything. You don't get all those judges' comments and the things they're saying behind the scenes, unfortunately. But you at least get a solid representation of scores where you'll know pretty much where you stand, that you went to go play that C scale and you know you didn't play the C scale too well, and the score that you got was, well, you received a score that was according to how you played. In rare occasions, they make a mistake with the score. That does happen. Sometimes someone who's putting it into the computer, they go to do the little input thing, and they go to put in a 13, and they put in 3 by accident. They forgot to hit the 1, and that changes everything. So you have to look for those types of things. But what I did was, for my auditions, and what I continue to do, is I reach out to people and I ask them. I say, what is it that I could have done better? And you know what's even better to do? Ask what you could have done better when you do get in, when you do make it in. Because to assume that you know everything is naive and very, very foolish. And you're not going to grow that way. You need to continue to ask questions, to continue to improve. That is the art of being an artist. We're always trying to get better. We're always trying to improve. We're trying to find the best of the best inside of us at all times. And that's the greatest thing about being an artist. We're never satisfied. We're always trying to do the best that we can. As I talked with my students about this, I said, the students on stage perform this musical for you today. And you were their first audience. They're performing right now as we speak. They're going to be performing it on Friday, and they're going to perform on Saturday. And the hope is that each night the performance gets better, because what they're going to do is they're going to learn from today's performance, and they're going to go each night and hopefully add something. Something can be it can be done to enhance the performance, because they're asking questions, they're looking within themselves, and they're trying to find anything that they can do to give them the upper edge. Because you know what's going to happen? Saturday's going to happen. And the cold, hard reality is that at the end of the day, the musical is over. Now what do you do? Now what do you do? Because there's no one left to perform for. And the people that you've been spending all that time with, they're gone now. I mean, they're not gone in terms of they passed away. They're gone in terms of that element. I think about it in terms of marching bands. And the students this year, we told them over and over and over, this is your last performance. This is it. You're never going to perform again. And it finally hit them. And I think some of them, it took a long time for it to hit them. So what you want to do is you want to enjoy the ride. You cannot enjoy the ride if you don't put in the time. You've got to put in the work. So you leave it all out there. All of it. All of your heart goes into everything that you're doing. Think about how I do these podcast episodes. Think about how I say that. I knew I wanted to say that to you during the episode. I didn't know when. But I want you to take that and hold it in the palm of your hand and say, I'm going to do this. This is going to happen for me. I'm going to give you the best of the best that I can possibly offer you at this time, because I deserve this. And this is my day, and I am going to get this. You are not going to deny me. It's not going to happen. And if you go in with that attitude, that sense of confidence, people are going to enjoy it. Now, you got to be careful. You can't be arrogant. You come off as being arrogant, you come off with a little bit too much sass, that's not going to work out well for you. But if you go in with just a little bit of swagger, you go in with those positive vibes, it's going to work out well for you. It's going to work out really, really well for you. And following up with those people, that's everything. You might be in situations where that follow-up may reap dividends. You may get something out of it. Who knows? You may try out for a part, get rejected, but you were the one. You were the only one. You didn't sulk. You didn't feel sorry for yourself. You picked yourself back up. And you called up the person, or you contacted the person and said, can I sit down with you? Can I talk about it? And anybody who's worth it, they're going to spend that time with you. And then you get to let them know who you really are. And before you know it, you might have a part. And if you don't now, you may in the very, very near future. And they'll remember you. I can remember so many places where I've judged for things where there were people who did not make it through to the next round, but I still remember their auditions clearly. And I always remember, as a judge, it was important for me to reach out to the person. There's one situation I remember about 15 years ago. I was doing a region audition, and I was in the room, and I was moderating. I was not a judge. And I remember a student who came in the room, and the student definitely had some serious ability, but the preparation was atrocious. It was so bad. And I remember just jotting down the person's number. Later on, I looked at the scores and I knew the person was not going to make it in. And I looked at the scores and I said, oh, okay, there's the person. That's the district that they're from. And I contacted the person's band director. I said, listen, I don't want to call up a student who doesn't know me. That would be very strange. I said, but I want to say to you that this person has some major talent. I think you know that. And they said, oh, they do. But they're just lazy and they're not motivated and they don't have the right person. I said, you know what? I'd love the opportunity to be able to work with them. I'd love that opportunity. Can you please pass it along? And that student became one of my best students of all time. And it all came from an audition where the ability was there. And by the way, the person also had a wonderful personality, which was able to come through, even though you weren't supposed to talk at all in the audition room. I remember the student had whispered into my ear about something and really made me laugh. And I felt so sad when I listened and I could hear the ability, but the preparation just wasn't there. But in the end, it worked out really well for the person. And the person wound up having a really, really successful career in which the arts was related to it in some way or another. So we covered a lot of things tonight. Do you have anything here off to the side that you have questions about? Alice, are there some things that have been asked throughout the course of this evening? Because we already are up to an hour. We've been flying through tonight. And I thank you all, as usual, for tuning in. Hopefully, if you're new tonight or you haven't been with us, you've had a chance to subscribe. Please take care, subscribe, and also like this video. Can you also do me a huge favor before we do the gift cards? Could you do me a huge favor? It would mean so much to me. Could you pull up quickly, maybe open up some tabs and open up some of the other episodes that we have? This is episode 267. We go all the way back to episode 251. For the YouTube episodes. If you could just help me out, even just right now, if you can just quickly go onto those episodes, just pull them up, even just pull up one and just smash that like button for me. And again, just passing those episodes along to other people, because, you know, all it's going to take is just a few episodes for people to hear, and the right people to be hearing the content. And it could really change a person's life. It could save a life. It could have huge long-term implications on the person's career, on their musicianship, on so many different facets that make that person. So, and that's why I do what I do. I talked about multitasking. Why did I do the multitasking episode earlier tonight? I did it not so much for the people who know the stuff already, but for the people who need to hear the stuff, where you can take that video and you take it to a coworker, you take it to a supervisor, you take it to an administrator and say, here, take a look at this video. The video is only 9 minutes long. It's going to give you an idea of what's going through a musician's mind when they multitask. No different than this episode. Now, this one's a little bit longer, obviously, but this one has to do with the audition process. Take a look at this. See some of the points that he's bringing across here, and see all these people that are chiming in. So I appreciate that. If you could help me out, and I appreciate all of you. Let's just see if I missed anyone tonight. I see some people jumped in here. I think I've done my shout outs to everyone here tonight. So I think we're just about at the point. Do we have any questions? I want to see. Let me just take a look at my phone real quick to see if Alice has given me any types of questions. I have some other questions, but not that. Oh, here we go. Great. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I don't want to get to that question. Okay. Okay. For a nervous singer-performer, how can I help myself in places so I feel more comfortable and more suited for a better chance in auditioning? Also, is it possible to accidentally mess up? And how do we cope with the failure of rejection if worse comes to worse? Okay, so we have a multifaceted question here. So first of all, how do we help ourselves in places so we can feel more comfortable? I'm going to tell you what I do. I'll give you my little thing here, and I'm going to type this in. This is my national anthem trick. I do this all the time for the national anthem. When I walk into the room or I walk into any setting as a singer, and I am singing the national anthem 100% of the time, I always face the flag. I always face the flag. It's interesting. People always face the flag when they're doing the Pledge of Allegiance. People always face the flag when the Star Spangled Banner, our national anthem, is being sung or being played. Isn't it ironic, though, that the people who are performing do not face the flag? I do. I do like to face the flag, or at the very least, I like to have my eyes on the flag. Why? Because what it does, it actually allows me to focus and be able to block out everything and everyone around me. So I can just focus on the flag, sing to the flag. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? And I'm just looking at the flag. I'm not worrying about anything else around me. Now, that's just for the national anthem. In terms of the rest of your audition, what can you do? You could certainly find a particular spot in the room. If you're reading off of music, that's not an issue. But what you could do is you could certainly you can check maybe some spot in the room and just key in on it. And don't make the spot the back of a judge's head. Oh my goodness. You don't want the back of someone's head like if they have a birthmark or something, or they have a bald spot. You don't want to be doing that. No, I'm not singing the entire national anthem tonight. You need a little bit more money. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not more money. But at some point, yes, I will do a little bit of performing for you. You have my guarantee. Pinky promise. Okay, a little pinky swear there. Okay. All right. So, and then the other part of this question, how is it possible to accidentally mess it up? How do you cope with the failure of rejection? I wouldn't, if you know that you prepared really, really well, you should be able to get over the rejection pretty quickly. It may just not have been your day. If you didn't prepare well enough, you got to look inside yourself. You got to say to yourself, hey, you, that's your fault. That's on you. You caused this. Your fault. And are you going to get a little bit nervous sometimes? Yes, absolutely. But if you're prepared well enough, like we talked about in all the stages of today's episode, you should be okay. All right. Do we have anything else here? All right. Everything's going down the tubes. We're talking about Pikachu and ice cream. And I'm hungry and I'm not allowed to eat ice cream. That's mean. That's not nice. You can't do it. Ilianis. The Nieves has arrived. Hooray to Ilianis. I'm so happy that she was able to make it tonight. That's amazing. But yes, I'm not allowed to have ice cream. And anybody in here who's put that in there, you are very, very cruel. Yes, you may love me, but that was not nice. 81 pounds today, by the way. That's right. Profile. There it is. Profile again. There it is. Really skinny arms. Well, you can't really see it, but they're very thin right now. The muscle tone is gone right now, but everything is going extremely well. And my hope is by the end of June, I'm going to wither away to nothing and just be a big skeleton here in front of you. No, I'm not going to be a skeleton, but I am going to getting it lost. Yes, Jess, thank you so much. Getting it lost, just like ding, the tooth. Of course, I had to make an appearance again tonight. But no, but I my goal is actually 100 pounds. So we should be down 100, down 100, probably, I would say like by the middle of May or so. So that's what my hope is. And then I'm going to be at a weight I have not been at in a long, long time, probably like since college days. So I'm pretty excited about that. At any rate, okay, please don't get skinny. Really? Wow. Wow. You want the chubby me back? Okay. All right. Listen, we got to wrap things up here tonight. It has been my favorite motivational speaker of all time says, Les Brown, a plum pleasing pleasure to be with all of you tonight. This is so much fun being with you tonight. And again, thank you as always for sharing your Thursday night. I need some congratulations. Alice, can you please send them to my phone? Let's see who we have. Do we have some names? Do we have some names? Okay, I'm looking around here, looking for the gift cards, looking for the gift cards, looking for some people to win some gift cards. Let's see who is here. Let's see. Uh, okay, and I do want to say, because if you've not won a gift card before, you want to wait here for a few minutes because your name can still be said. You do not have to be here as it's going on, but the bottom line is here we go. We're going to be announcing, we got our 2 gift cards. Yes, it's true. I actually have them tonight with me. So shame on me last time. We got the Amazon gift card. It's true. Yeah, we're going with, let's say, aqua bluish type of color. So we'll just put that up there. And yes, the Panera bread. It's true. That's right. They hooked me up again with 5 of these bad boys, 5 $10 gift cards. Again, huge props to management at the Sea Caucus, New Jersey Panera location. They were totally incredibly amazing. Ooh, she wants the Panera one. Ooh, she wants the Panera one. Okay, so we need to look here. We need to look, and let's take a look. What are we going with first? Are we doing Amazon first, or are we doing the Panera bread? Which one is it? Need to pick one. Amazon, Panera. Amazon, Panera. Come on, help me out. Which one are you doing? Talk to me. Help me out. Let's see. Amazon. I'm seeing the Amazon. Yes, we do love the mac and cheese. Mac and cheese from Amazon, right? The Amazon mac and... Oh, just kidding. The Panera mac and cheese is something special. Oh, it looks like we're going to be going with... Let's do this. Oh, I like that. I like that name. Okay, I guess yeah. We're gonna go in with Amazon tonight. We're doing Amazon. We did Panera last week first, so Amazon gift card, $15 gift card, $15 gift card. Just nice. Do you have a drum roll ready for me? Just nice. Do you have that drum roll ready for me? You always have the drum roll ready. Yes. Yes, and boy, did we get a lot of stuff from Just Nice. All right, here we go. Ready? Ready. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. Remember, info@brasstender.com to claim your prize. This is the $15 Amazon gift card going to Dink! Ladies of the night, proud to give you the $15 Amazon gift card. No, it is not, has nothing to do with me knowing you, liking you, or anything like that. This is done completely at random. How in the world did that happen? It is done by our random generator. We take the entire chat. You have to be a subscriber to the episode. And because she did that, even just her first night ever being here, congratulations to ladies of the night. And again, this is amazing because this is her first night being here, but also she does have that incredible channel. Please check out Ladies of the Night. They have their own YouTube channel, and persuade their people to come on over to our channel too. We certainly would love to have them join us. Okay, so Panera gift card. Here it comes. We got the bread of all different types here. You type in your favorite bread. What type of bread do you like the most from Panera? Do you have a favorite type of bread? Talk to me. Give me some feedback. Okay, $10, $10 gift card. $10 gift card going to Jessica Zuckerman. Jessica, you have won the $10 Panera gift card. Congratulations to Jessica. You have been a faithful listener for so much time, and I am so happy for you. Thank you so much to all of you again for tuning in. Please, I am always looking for names of episodes for new topics. I do want you to know one of the topics we are going to be exploring in the near future will absolutely be one that does have to do with anxiety, with depression. I've gotten that request many times. I am very, very sensitive to those particular issues, and I want to make sure that we do that episode right. It's got to be done the right way so people can really get a lot out of the episode. So that's number one. The second thing, which is so important, be not just the episodes themselves in terms of the topics that we're looking for. We're also going to get some guests on here, and that's going to be happening in the very near future. Hopefully, even as soon as next Thursday, I might be able to have someone here with me while we're broadcasting and be able to do a live on air interview. I think that would be incredible. So for the people who won the gift cards tonight, congratulations. Make sure to email me, contact me in any type of way. Thank you again. Give it up for Alice. Give it up for Alice. Can you do that for me? Thank you, Alice, so much for doing the incredible things that you do every single night for us to help us out. Ian, as always, would like to thank him. Like I said, he is a little busy right now on the road on Thursday nights, but he will eventually be joining us. If you have what you think it takes to be a moderator, you're interested in being a moderator for the channel, please also contact me at info@brasstenor.com. You can also check out my Facebook page. If you have not had a chance to look at the Facebook page, the information is below. You can check it out. And we, again, appreciate all of your support. So thank you so much to everyone. And as always, peace.